Hey, my name is Nick Anderson, and today I'm going to teach you how to make Ramone-style guitar tones in Logic Pro X using just stock plugins. Cool thing about these particular channel strip settings that I'm about to go through, I actually use these for my band song Bike Cops, and we got that song into the hands of Marky Ramone, who loved it, sent me a message back, said, "Great, I love it. I'm going to play this on my Sirius XM radio show." So we made our Sirius XM radio debut using these exact channel strip settings that I'm about to show you. If you don't want to go through the entire process of making these channel strips with me, that is totally fine. I actually have a link below where you can download these exact channel strip settings. All right, let's get right into it. Okay, so here is the song. And then here's a clip of Marky Ramone premiering it for people who don't believe that it happened.
I'm Marky Ramone, your host, and up next I got a new song from a band called Nick Anderson and the Skinny Lovers. The name of this song is called Bike Cops. I'm Marky Ramone, and this is the First Wave Blitzkrieg.
All right, let's get into making these tones. And once again, if you don't want to go through all of the work of making these channel strip settings with me, I do have a download link in the description below. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so we've got 3 guitar tones here that make up what this eventual sound is going to be. Let's start with the heavy distorted guitar here. This is what it's going to sound like soloed. The funny part about this is, like, these tones kind of sound crappy on their own, but together it's just, it makes beautiful magic music. Cool, so let's start with this heavy distorted guitar. I did a little bit of a backwards chain here. I started with the amp and then did a pedal board. So you're going to want to go to Amp Designer, open that up. If you want, you can start with their preset, the Vintage Stack. I believe that's what I did. So you can go to Crunch and then go to Vintage Stack, and that should load the stuff up for you where you can make some of the changes. Otherwise, the model is the Vintage British Stack, the amp is the Vintage British Head, and the cabinet is the Vintage British 4x12. We used a Condenser 414 mic, and the output is -4. Now let's take a look at where this mic placement is. I'm huge on mic placement, especially in Logic. That's what's going to make the biggest difference on your tones, in my opinion, is where that mic placement is and what type of mic it is. Okay, let's look at the amp settings here then. We've got our gain at 6.5, our bass is at 6, our mids are at 7.5, and our trebles at 9. Reverb and effects are off. We don't want that in there. No effects. And presence is at 4, and the master is at 7.5 plus a little tidge. A little tidge. It's a you know, is it a metric system? Is tidge? Anyways, then the pedal board after the amp. Weird, I know, but we're doing Ramones. We're breaking the rules, people. And we've got the vintage drive and then the high drive on here. So the vintage drive, we've got our drive at 24.7 decibels. We've got our tone at 900 hertz and our level at plus 1.5 dB. We do have fat turned on because we like it fat. Fat-bottomed girls make the world go round. The rockin' world, that is. Anyways, then we've got our high drive treble boost. We've got that at 12 dB, and we've got that on full. That is our first tone, and it should sound like this. Now, I used a $120 Squier guitar to record that, so any guitar you're using should be fine. It was a humbucker that recorded it. It was like a copy of an Invader pickup that was in there, but your volume knob's at 10. Just go and rock. Important to note, the Ramones down pick. It needs to be all down picking because that's what's going to give you that aggressive, like, tone. So you have to down pick. If you're going back and forth, I guess that's fine, but it's not fine. So anyways, our next tone here, make sure yours, the first tone, make sure it's in the center there. Okay, so our next tone here is actually the exact same tone that we just made, except for it's panned all the way to the left, and I actually re-recorded the guitar for this. So I didn't just copy and paste the track onto that new track with that same tone. I re-recorded it, and then it's really important that you pan this all the way to the left. Okay, then our third tone here, or our third track, again, this is a new guitar recording, which I find is like really thickening up the tone to do those separate tracks. If you want it to sound like you're just playing one guitar, then you can copy it across these different tracks, and that'll be just fine. But I prefer the tone of, doing a couple different guitar takes. To me, it makes it sound a little bit thicker because you don't play exactly the same each time. Okay, so this tone, there's a couple different things that are happening with it. Let's play it first. It will be panned all the way to the right, but I'm going to put it in the center so we can hear it in its glory. So you can tell this one, it sounds quite a bit different than the other ones. Like, so back to that other. It is almost like a little bit more surf rock. I don't want to say that, but like it's more surfy sounding. So let's get into this tone. Eventually we're going to have this panned all the way to the right. But for, let's just do that for now. Okay, so again, starting with the amp, we've got the same on the bottom here. The model is the vintage British stack. The amp is the vintage British head. The cabinet is the vintage British 4x12. That's really hard to say. Over vintage British. Try it. I don't know. Anyways, the mic is a condenser 414, and then the output is still at -4. So that's all the same as what we had done before. You can see the mic placement here as well. And then this is where things are different. This is where things get a little bit different. We've got our gain at 4. Our bass is at like 5.7, and our mids are at 7.1, same as before, and then our treble is at 9. I think that's both. Yeah, those are both the same. Reverb and effects still off. Presence at 4.1, and our master is at like 7.9, 7.8. Here's where we did some different things too. Our pedal board is going to be a lot different. Our tone on the vintage drive is going to be 890 hertz. Our drive is going to be 36 dB, so quite a bit more. And then level is plus 3.3. Fat is turned on. If you're liking these channel strip settings, but you don't want to go through all the work, just like I said, we do have a description, a download in the description for these channel strip settings that you can just grab, and then you'll be good to go. Otherwise, let's keep making these together. This, when I recorded, I turned the volume knob on the guitar back quite a bit. I think it was at like 4, but turn it back quite a bit, and that'll give you that kind of surf rock that just like, I don't know if I want to call it a fuller tone, but just this, like, it almost sounds like a single coil, and it wasn't. So those are our 3 guitar tones. Again, the first one we made, I labeled as Ramones Heavy Distortion. The second one, I labeled as Ramones Guitar Volume 10 and panned that all the way to the left. And then the third one, panned all the way to the right, was what we just made. And let's play these two together. You can just hear just the stereo image then. So it's like almost there, you can tell. And then we just throw this third one on there, and then you can kind of mess with your sliders there to determine exactly what you want to get that exact tone. Originally mine was kind of back there, and then yeah, and that is how you get that Ramones sound. Again, you want to be downstroking on that guitar, and then you can grab yourself a sick song like Bike Cops that we made, or, play around with a Ramones song. Yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I've got other videos like this with different Logic channel strip settings using just Logic Pro plugins. You can check those out here wherever they are going to land. And if you do make these plugins and you end up recording some songs or doing anything like that, please link the songs in the comment. I would love to check out what you guys make with these plugins. And yeah, my name is Nick Anderson. It's been a pleasure teaching you how to make these plugins. I'm really excited about these ones. I had so much fun playing with these. Again, I just used a $120 Squire guitar. I think my bassist actually got it off of Facebook Marketplace, and it just sounded awesome with these plugins and stuff. So you don't need a super expensive guitar. I've also played these plugins. I have a Gibson Les Paul Jr., and it sounds great on that too. It sounds basically great on just like all guitars because it's just messy, awesome, and downstroking. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time. Please subscribe below. I'm the only YouTuber on earth that forgets to say that. So subscribe below, giving a like, a comment, hitting that bell notification. Is that what they all say to do? That really means a lot to me. It does make my day when I get a new subscriber. So please subscribe and share it with your friends and all that good stuff. We will see you next time. Until then, rock on.